Welcome everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, nous nous retrouvons donc pour cette nouvelle vidéo consacrée aujourd'hui à la formation d'une phrase. So this new video, um, I want to dedicate to the creation how to make a sentence in French. It's a very important lesson because it will give you the tools to make your own sentence when you are thinking about answering someone. So to not just use the keywords, but to use the whole sentence. I think this lesson will be very helpful. So you will know how to answer someone with a correct sentence. So first, let's see what is the phrase de base, la phrase de base that we call it's the basic sentence. The basic sentence, it's two elements, two necessarily existing elements, le sujet et le verbe. So respectively, in English it's the same, the subject and the verb. So these two elements, they are mandatory to make a sentence. Without these two elements, you can't have a sentence. So that's the formula of the basic sentence. You have the example like Lila danse, for example. Lila is the subject and danse is the verb. So these two elements, when you want to answer, you have to avoid using just a keyword. For example, when you have to answer about something you eat, for example, you will not just say pomme, but you will say je mange une pomme, ou voilà, une pomme, et manger. It's more easy to use that. It's correct to use that without using just keywords for answering. So now maybe you are wondering why I put this drawing here. So it's a metaphor I wanted you to have when thinking about the basic sentence, la phrase de base. I want you to imagine going to a restaurant and seeing on the menu that you have a menu, you have like a starter and a main dish. Okay, so this is like the basic menu you can have. This is necessary for you to eat, to have a starter and a main dish. Okay, so I wanted you to imagine that these two elements in the sentence that they are just like the main elements in a menu, for example, when you're going to a restaurant for lunch. So you can't separate these two elements. They exist and together they make a sentence, a correct sentence, a basic sentence, but they are mandatory for this matter. So for you to know what are these two elements, so the subject, un sujet in French, it can be anything. It can be a name that will represent a person or a thing that is doing the action or who is undergoing the action. Okay, so basically it's the thing, the most concerned thing by the action, the element that is the most concerned by the action. It's always the subject in a sentence. So un sujet, as I told, it can be anything. Peut représenter une personne ou une chose. So a person or a thing that is doing the action. So for example, it can be a nom propre like Christophe. It can be a nom commun like le mécanicien or la maison. Okay, so it can be even inanimated things like la maison. You see, La maison is inanimate, but it can be a sujet. It can be a subject. Okay? So this is the first element, le sujet. The second element is a verb. Le verbe, so it's an action. It's an action or it is a state, un état. Une action ou un état. For example, I put few verbs here. You have être, to be, avoir, to have, manger, to eat, chanter, to sing, dire, to say, courir, to run, sembler, to seem. Okay? So, for example, être is a state. It's je suis, par exemple, je suis grand. I am tall. Hein? It's a description of a state. Être. But I can have a verb like chanter, for example, to sing. And sing now, it's an action. It's something I am doing. So, chanter, to sing, it's an action. So this can be a verb. Anything that is describing an action is an action or a state is a verb. So this was about the basic sentence. Now I want you to have a better look on what I call la phrase SVC. La phrase SVC, it's for sujet, verbe, complément. S stands for sujet, V stands for verb, and C stands for complément. So why I call it like that? Because la phrase SVC, it's the sentence when you have, of course, the sujet, where you have the verb, but to these two elements existing in the basic sentence, you will add complément. Complément. What are these compléments? We will see just after. But for our metaphor, it's for you to imagine that you have your subject, you have your verb in your menu, and you want to add a beverage, you want to add a dessert. It will make your menu more complete. It's the same for the sentence. For the sentence, if you want to make your sentence more meaningful, give more information, or even just have a meaning, you will add complément. The compléments are very important to make your sentence more having more sense, even more sense, more meaning. So it's very important, and 90% of the verbs of the sentences in French, they are using complément in their sentences. Okay? Dans une phrase SVC, on retrouve le sujet et le verbe, mais on ajoute aussi un complément ou des compléments. Important, one complement or many complements. We can add more complements, okay, than one. Because we want to have more information, we will add more complements. Qui donne plus d'informations, more informations, pour mieux comprendre la phrase, to better understand the sentence. Okay, so you have, for example, here, Lila danse. You remember, this was the sentence we got from the last diapo. Lila danse, the last, for the basic sentence. We got a subject, we got a verb. So, grammatically, it's correct, it's a subject. But it gives us a very, not a lot of information, a very restrictive information about what's happening. We just know that there's a Lila, and this Lila is dancing, but we don't know anything else. So if we want this to be more complete, we will add complément. For example, here, Lila danse au concert des Rolling Stones. I have now an information about her localization, au concert, at the concert, au concert des Rolling Stones. So it adds more sense to my sentence, okay? More information. It's not just a basic sentence. It's a full sentence with information about not only what is Lila doing, but also where is she doing it, okay? And so I can put more complément to make the sentence more, giving more informations. Okay, it depends totally on the person who's writing the sentence to make it more or less meaningful. Okay, so that's about the phrase SVC, the SVC sentence. Now I want you to know what are the different complements. Of course, there are different types of complements. There are a lot of complements, but the complements, the very basic ones, are, for example, the COD, which we call the complément d'objet direct. Complément d'objet direct, it's the complement, and for you to identify it, you will use two questions. You will use the question quoi or the question qui. So the question quoi is what, and the question qui is who. So if I read the first sentence here, I have elle lit un livre. Elle lit un livre. Okay. I will ask elle lit quoi? Elle lit quoi? Un livre. Un livre is the answer to the question quoi. So if un livre is the answer to the question quoi, then un livre is the COD. The next sentence is il regarde le film. Il regarde le film. Same, I will use quoi. Il regarde quoi? Le film is the answer. So, le film is the COD. And the last one, je mange une pomme. Je mange quoi? Une pomme is the answer to the question. So, une pomme is the COD. Okay? So, always when you are not sure, just use this question, quoi, qui, and you know what is the COD in your answer, in your sentence. Then, the next one is the COI. COI is what we call complément d'objet indirect. It's a little bit different than the COD because it's introduced by à, de, pour, so by a preposition basically. À, de, à, dans, par, pour, en, vers, avec, de, sans, etc. So this is the preposition. The preposition, they are introducing this noun. If this noun is introduced by a preposition, then it's not a COD, it's a COI. And you will see it will not answer the question quoi, qui, but most of the time it will answer the question à qui, à quoi, de qui, de quoi, pour qui, pourquoi, etc. So let's have a look on the first sentence. Il parle à son ami. Il parle à son ami. It will not be il parle quoi. It doesn't work. But if I ask il parle à qui? Il parle à qui, à quoi? Here it's à qui because it's a man. It's his friend. So it's a man. Il parle à qui? Il parle à qui? À son ami is the answer. So it's a COI. The next one, je rêve de vacances. Je rêve de vacances. Here I will not ask je rêve quoi, but I will ask je rêve de quoi. De quoi? De vacances. De vacances is the answer to the question de quoi. So de vacances is the COI. Elle pense à son examen. Elle pense à quoi? À son examen. À son examen is the answer to the question. So it's the COI. Complément circonstanciel. Maintenant, you have a few different compléments circonstanciels. So what are they for? They exist, to give information about le lieu, le temps, la manière, le but, la cause. Le lieu, the place, le temps, the time, la manière, the way, le but, the aim, and la cause, the origin of something. For example, if I look at the first sentence, ils vont à Paris. Ils vont où? Ils vont à Paris. So here, the element in yellow will answer to the question où and not to the question À quoi, à qui, hein? But to the question où, where. Ils vont où? Where are they going? To Paris, à Paris. Then I have the temps, the time. Nous partirons demain. Nous partirons, here I will ask, nous partirons quand? Using the interrogative word quand. Quand. When. Nous partirons demain. Tomorrow. Then I have la manière. La manière is the way. The way will answer to the question comment. Comment. Elle chante avec douceur. Elle chante comment? Avec douceur. How. How is she singing? Avec douceur. Softly. Softly. Avec douceur. And then la cause, the origin, it's answering the question pourquoi. Pourquoi is why. Elle pleure. Pourquoi? À cause de son film. Why is she crying? Because of her movie. Because of the movie, sorry, not her movie, but her, because of the movie, à cause du film. So now your time, have a look at that sentence and try to identify the different elements we have here. So basically the subject, le sujet, le verbe, and le complément. And try to identify what type of complément we have here. So in this sentence, of course, we identify the subject quite quickly. It's here. Il. Il is the sujet. Il est le sujet. Ensuite, nous cherchons le verbe. We're looking for the verb. À manger. 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 À manger is the verb. Hein? Here. And finally, this last element, une soupe à l'oignon, is the COD. Hein? Why? Because if I'm asking quoi, il a mangé quoi, the answer to that is une soupe à l'oignon. If I ask in English, it's the same. He ate what? An onion soup. Hein? Il a mangé quoi? Une soupe à l'oignon. Alors, je vous laisse regarder la seconde phrase, the second sentence. I let you have a look on it. Alors ici, on a un sujet qui est Oriana. Oriana, un nom propre, qui est le sujet. Oriana is doing the action. C'est le sujet. So she is the subject. Ensuite, le verbe parla, parler, parla, to say, to speak, parler. Parla is the verb. And here, this last element, à son frère. So if you try to identify if it's a COD or a COI or another complement, try to find the good question. The good question for here is, elle parle, Oriana parla, à qui? À qui is the right question to ask. So, what will answer à qui? À son frère. So, if it answer to à qui, like it is doing here, it's the COI. À son frère is COI of the verb parla. Parla à qui? À son frère. Then the last one, Johan a remporté facilement. I let you have a look. So the last one, Johan a remporté facilement. Of course, Johan is the sujet. He is doing the action. He won something. Remporter is to won. Hein? Donc to win. Hein? Donc a remporté. Hein? Remporter is the verb to win. And then this one last element is what we called an adverb in French. But this adverb, what is it answering facilement? It is answering the question how, comment, comment, how does he win? Et facilement, it means easily. So it answers the question how. So if it answers the question how, it's what we call a complément circonstanciel de manière. Okay, we can make the abbreviation CCM, complément circonstanciel de manière. So this is the complément of manière, complément circonstanciel de manière, and that will answer the question how. Okay, so that's all for today's lesson. I hope it will help you to make better sentence in the future, to use the whole elements of the basic and the SVC of the SVC sentence. It's very important to use all the elements you can have to make a complete and correct sentence when you are practicing French. Thank you very much for your attention and see you for the next video.